Well, for his first early state rally of 2024, Donald Trump made his way to Pickens, South Carolina over the weekend. Did you see some of this? Local officials estimated a crowd of 50,000 people showed up. Here's some of the former president. Watch.
Here in South Carolina, we are leading by many, many points. In fact, so many points they didn't even want to put out a number. They said whatever the hell it is. And you have, as you know, Tim Scott, who happens to be a good man, by the way. But you have Tim Scott and you have Nikki Haley running.
Well, since 1980, the winner of the South Carolina primary has gone on to win the Republican nation all but one time. We'll get into this rally, but first, Chris, Ken Cuccinelli name-checked you, took an issue with what you said. Your response to him would be what?
Well, it would be weird if he agreed with me. Right? He's running the Super PAC for Ron DeSantis, but I will say this. I can see how that ad would be effective for bringing some of the, and you know, I don't want to use pejorative terms, but some of the dudes who were Donald Trump enthusiasts and who like DeSantis for the culture war stuff. And I can see why that might be effective. It's a weird ad, but maybe effective. But I will say this, the last thing that the Republican Party needs is to reopen the gay marriage and gay rights debate in a general election. When I tell you that the Obergefell decision was a blessing to the Republican Party, and when it came down, the Republicans were like, shucks, oh, darn, I guess gay marriage is legal now. Let's never talk about it again. And the closer they get to the line on that, that's just another alienation for those swing voters.
And I think another part of this that we need to mention is that both of these campaigns, Trump and DeSantis, to be fair, have been very online campaigns. I mean, to see these staffers go at it on Twitter, to release this video itself. The majority of New Hampshire and Iowa voters aren't going to see
But Twitter's not the real world.
No,
right?
it isn't.
We all know that.
Exactly.
The real world is what happened with Donald Trump and 50.
Oh, look at that transition. This gentleman.
No. I mean, I
tell you what, that's some quality broadcasting that happened right there.
What do you? Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
What do you make, Julia, then, of what we saw? I mean, this was the Greenville News. They said, quote, former President Donald Trump didn't have to do much convincing to impress a hometown crowd of mostly Trump supporters in Pickens Saturday. A hometown crowd. This wasn't New York or Florida. This was South Carolina, and you see 50,000 people, give or take, show up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, that's the stuff that matters, not these online videos or the spats between campaigns. It's the in-person turnout, and that just shows, and it backs up the polling that we are seeing, that Donald Trump is, to use Steve Cortez's words, the runaway frontrunner here.
And this is the Greenville is the Greenville Spartanburg Metroplex is the correct part of the state for Donald Trump. It's the upstate where he would do well. The battle will be down on the coast where there are more moderate and more affluent voters. And that's where we get to the Tim Scott-Nikki Haley fight that is going to come down eventually.
As a big fan of Tim Scott myself,
excellent disclosure.
Thank you. I think it's only fair.
There you go.
I would like to point out the fact that Donald Trump understands the importance of Tim Scott in the state, and that's why he called him out as a good man, which he didn't give Nikki Haley the pleasure of doing. And I would also say that when you look at somebody who's generally not that congenial with other people, and all of a sudden he invokes a person's name who's very popular in the state, you probably are looking at somebody who understands that the dynamics can change at any minute, and he needs to have Tim Scott on his side no matter what.
Yeah. University of South Carolina football averaged 75,785 fans per game. Donald Trump pulled in 50,000 just for some sort of size and context.
Not much to do out there.
Don't say that in South Carolina now.
Tim's got to be disavowing you by the end of the week.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.